What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I want to draw your attention to a conversation that I had with one Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. And Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is a lecturer at the legendary Fresno State University in the California State University system in Fresno. I graduated from Sacramento State University, so we're in the same system there. He teaches Africana studies in Black masculinity studies. He's a PhD. He's an intellectual. He's what we call an elite in our academic community. All right. He's a guy you want to have on think tanks and stuff like that. But nevertheless, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson described to me about his personal marriage that it ended because his wife passed. But before that, he was in what was called a sexless marriage with an African-American woman. Now, many of his colleagues who are also PhDs and qualified guys in health industry and things like that were also finding similar problems. And once they either divorced, they ended up dating women in Africa, right? And it was called Black Men Have a Better Chance Spending Life in Africa instead of in America. Now, I know the topic is dealing with Adele and Rich Paul, but I want to look at the same sentiment because what we're seeing is a pattern of this happening with Black men who are successful. And I'm trying to figure out why that is, right? And Adele is dating Rich Paul. They were having some problems. She cut off her social media and everything and did not want to leave her house until they got it together. And now they're getting engaged. Adele is a very, very popular singer, very successful, arguably one of the most talented singers of this generation. But she's getting married to to Rich Paul. And my question is, with Rich Paul being who he is, why is he not marrying an African-American woman? Now, I'm a person that is pro-Black. I'm a person that you would consider to be B1. And I know that my mentality may not be the same as his, but I'm seeing these situations quite often where here you have these Black men who are at the top of their game, but they're partnering up with women that are not in our community. You're even seeing this even amongst brothers in the Pan-African community who are similar in their collegiate esteem, academic esteem. They are moving away from African-American women and even going into the diaspora and dating. So it's the same thing happening. The movement or the shift is away from the fluidity of choosing Black women. It is opposing that force. Okay. Why is that? And I think that we kind of saw probably why that is, because Adele was, when things were problematic in the relationship, Adele was doing the best that she could to work through those problems. She was willing to cut what she had, up or off. Now she is a singer, at least right now, one can argue more successful than Beyonce the last 5 years. She's even beaten Beyonce almost every time head up at Oscars or Grammys or whatever you call those things. But when it was her time in the relationship, when none of that matters, because that's the point. Like when you're in relationships with people, your money no longer matters as much, especially if they're rich. Your rewards don't matter anymore that much. All that matters is you. When you wake up and go to bed every day is you. Adele said, hey, you know what? When times are going wrong in the relationship, then what we're going to do is we're going to try to fight through it and make it better than before. The issue is with our community, I think with maybe Black men and Black women, when things hit a rough patch, and they always will, I think a lot of our women have been trained from our society and from the greater society that, hey, listen, no fault divorce. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need to deal with this. I don't need to be married. I have my own money. I have my own stuff. I think that's the difference. If you see a Black woman with Adele's fame, fortune, that may have been the perspective. Listen, I am this person, right? Who is he to, I'm gonna, listen, it's easy enough. I can find somebody else, or I can just be with myself. And it's easy to quit. Now, I'm not saying it happens all the time, but these non-Black women from Black men that I know that have dealt with African-American women and deal only in the Black diaspora, or they're dealing only with women, Caucasian or whatnot, they feel that when things have become problematic, that there's more incentives to work it out. these other groups of women are trying to work it out. They're trying to stay together longer, even though there's problems. And I'm not pointing fingers at whoever the person that causes the problems. Obviously, we know that black men can be a headache to deal with, and anybody of any other race can be a headache to deal with. I'm not discounting that. But the reason why Adele is getting married to Rich Paul, and maybe not a woman from our community, is because a woman who has Adele's wealth is not probably going to compete as much as she is. Because a black woman that would have Adele's wealth in, let's say, fame or beauty or whatever, maybe she doesn't feel that she needs to be competitive to keep the relation going. Maybe not. I think that's what kind of happens with women in our community, because they achieve these things. I have a lot of ladies that I went to undergrad with. Many of them graduated medical school, dental school way before me. They were smarter than I was, and many of them are still single for the fact that, hey, well, I'm a doctor now. I'm a pharmacist. I can do better by myself. And trust me, that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing terrible all by themselves. I don't have any friends who are medical doctors who are single in the African-American community. One of my best friends, Dr. Cumby, I'll just say that. One of my good buddies, I haven't seen him in a long time. That guy was married like soon after Mahari. All right. And shout out to my brother. I love him very dearly. He's married with a beautiful wife there in our hometown. His father was one of the premier dentists in Oklahoma City. In fact, Kevin Samuels knows him. Dr. Cumby in Oklahoma City, for those of you who know who he is, a church deacon there in the Catholic Church. But once my buddy got out of college, it was like on and cracking. It was so much opportunity for him, right? And but ladies in our community, if they have that success and they get a guy, they don't feel like they need to compete. And then what they don't understand is that the other ladies around the world are going to compete, because Adele knows how hard it is to find another guy like him. She may even have more money than he does. She knows how hard it is for her to find a guy that she feels is as attractive as he is. Hey, I need to do something. It's not about me now. I got to put my stuff to the side and work this out. Same thing with black men, right? It's too easy for us to get into ego because we feel like we have money. And let me tell you this, just because you have money, it doesn't mean that you have to treat people wrong or in a messed up way. You still have to compete for somebody's attention every day. And in the black community, I really feel like our women don't feel that they need to do that, which is why Rich Paul is not marrying an African-American woman. I think it's partly the truth. Now, he could be a sellout a little bit, or, I don't know if that's the truth, because LeBron is definitely married to a black woman, but that could be part of the issue there. And we need to talk about that, and women need to understand, like, hey, you're going to be beat to the punch by other ladies who may be even more educated than you, and they're going to still try harder, whether it's in the black diaspora or amongst the white groups or Asian groups. And when women don't want to hear that, it hurts their feelings, because you hate black women, all that other stuff. It's not even about that. It's about a lot of these guys who are open as free agents. Let the best person come and compete. And if you don't want to compete, you don't get chose. At least not long term. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.